Where's Tom? Okay.
We're
going to start. Oh, there we go.
Why don't you sit? Sit already, okay.
Let's
They're
get
walking
sit.
out already. We haven't even started the conversation.
We're not going to flip the theater over.
Well, who remembers the great film historian William K. Everson?
I guess. Yeah.
Bill would never say how great a movie was. He would always go, well, it's not really very good. And then you would wind up loving it,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
The Raven is not really very good.
No.
Nor is Gabby, but the Stone Age cartoon.
You like that one?
I thought it was terrific.
Take this.
Anybody agree with me?
I loved it.
It's funnier than any
rare.
Flintstones episode.
It's important these things
Yeah.
are preserved and they're, and they're accessible. That's my personal thing.
But that's an important film, I think.
Because, I mean, on the case of the Stone Age, my group was ASIFA Hollywood. They got a credit on several of these. And we have a little bit, we're a nonprofit organization. We do the Annie Awards. Whatever profits we do have, we actually put into film preservation. We can't really do too many films per year. For many years, we were the only people doing it.
But now
There's others, but the thing is, and that's the good news, is that the Paramount has opened the vaults to others. Paramount will allow you to give the archives money to preserve their movies.
Well, that's how
they won't do it.
Because Jane Fleischer Reed, Max's granddaughter, had the initiative to restore these films. A lot of the films we saw tonight were from the Fleischer Tunes restored collection, and the others were from UCLA.
Yeah, and the thing is, I'm glad you said that because I actually, in the last few years, knowing they're doing that, I heard about that they found this camera negative for the Stone Age film, a film nobody had seen, that nobody that I know alive today had seen it. So I went to Jane and I said, "Are you guys going to do this? Because you're going to do it. I'm not going to do it." And she said, she hates those cartoons. I've never seen that cartoon, but I don't want to. I'm not doing it. I'm not kidding. So I said, well, I'm going to do it. So
But they want to put the Betty Boops and the
Yeah.
color classics on the fast track. And we are doing a whole show of color classics this week. You won't be here.
No.
And we're also going to do a pre-code Betty Boop collection later in the week. And what else? A Popeye show, which I've been wanting to do for 40 years.
Wow.
No one has done a Popeye show. Have you? Anybody remember a whole? How many minutes? 80 minutes of Popeye? No. With all the same plot, but they're still great.
Well, Bruce, I'd like to come back here every year and show rare cartoons. Is that something we can do?
Yeah.
One spot.
We're thinking about it. Of course. We've known each other since, you said since the 70s, I think the early 80s, but we really haven't done anything in 40 years. But early on, we were at the Thalia together doing cartoon shows with Greg Ford. Louis just reminded me, Cartoonal Knowledge, that was great. Greg Ford's title for the series was Cartoonal Knowledge.
At one point, you changed the series to Tuesdays.
No, Tuesdays, that was mine.
That was yours.
Yeah. And I did I think that's how I got the job with Warner Brothers I was Daffy Duck's publicist. And I worked with you, with Terry Thorin and Animation Celebration.
Yeah.
And we were the first to publicize a Pixar film. Luxor Jr., remember that?
Oh, that's how far back we go.
And also the California Raisins.
Yeah.
I had to fight off people. Normally you have to beg for publicity. With the California Raisins, I had to fight them off. I had to turn down Oprah Winfrey because we accepted the Phil Donahue show for the sport. But you were part of that.
I was part of the thing, Expanded Entertainment. We started Animation Magazine. We did the Festival of Claymation, the Festival of Computer Animation, the Animation Celebration. We did all these festivals that went around. We were really doing what, I grew up here in New York, and I loved the Museum of Modern Art. And they used to run the best of Annecy, the best of Zagreb, and all that. And so we wanted to bring that to the rest of the country. New York kind of didn't need it, but the rest of the country did. So
there was the Animation Celebration, the tournée of animation.
Yeah.
What was the difference?
No, there was no difference.
I was the publicist. I didn't know the difference.
The difference was that most people didn't know what the word tournée meant.
So I still don't.
And then through that we did a festival in LA, and that brought the attention to animated features from around the world. And then I began to distribute Japanese
And
animation.
that's what, when we opened this particular theater, Film Forum we had another location about a quarter mile on Canal Street, but when we opened this theater in September 1990, which is, 36 years ago, one of the first things we showed on this screen after the Sturgis Festival was Akira, which
Yeah.
we
brought the filmmaker
we brought the filmmaker here.
Yeah.
And because of Jerry, we were the first theater ever to show a Miyazaki movie in this theater, right?
Yep.
Which was the title.
You mean Castle in the Sky?
La Puta Castle.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And we also did, by the way, I'm not sure what, it would have been in '89, but when my book, The Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies,
we did something
we did a special
with Will
festival
Friedwald,
for that.
yeah.
And we also did a thing about Tex Avery. remember?
Texas most sexist.
Yes,
they called it.
yes, we called it.
Yeah.
And it was very sexist. And, very indeed.
We're doing the pre-code Betty Boop this week. It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah. So we've gone back. We did a lot of
That's
stuff.
because Greg Ford made two new Daffy Ducks, and I got the
Oh, you
job.
did the Porky Pig? Remember that, the Porky Pig show?
Yeah, Louis reminded me, we did a Porky Pig's 50th birthday in 1986.
Yeah.
And I think that's how I got the job with Warner Brothers. We got so much publicity on that.
Yeah.
But then Greg Ford made the two new Daffy Ducks, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
was involved with that. And that's how we got access to the... You can't imagine how hard it was to get cartoons in the 80s. You know, good prints of cartoons.
Yeah.
We were depending on... You worked at MGM UA or UA Classics.
Yeah.
You had them in 16, not great prints.
They were okay. They were originals, and we had 35 millimeter on some of them.
But because of our, work at Warner Brothers at the studio, we knew the archivist, and we were able to show brand new 35,
Yeah.
which in the 80s was something
Yeah.
like tonight, but it was very rare in those days, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Raven. Let's get back to the Fleischer.
Oh yeah.
Because,
Well, I wanted to give a little background here.
Because you mentioned 35 and the Raven print
Yeah.
that we ran just now. You may not have known it was a 35 millimeter print.
So,
Because nobody wants to make a digital copy of it. I'm not kidding. It's like we went to the trouble of restoring it, but nobody feels any value of making it.
But that came from UCLA. They made a photochemical print,
Yeah.
which is rare.
Yeah.
And they also did the digital copy of Hold It, which is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
That got a good applause.
Yes, it did.
Raven got a smattering of applause.
Smattering.
Gabby got no applause.
Guys deserve it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like the idea that we showed everything. In fact, we didn't show, I realized the only series I think we didn't show they made was called Animated Antics. And we just restored one of them. And unfortunately, there is no good episode of the Animated Antics.
I never heard of it.
Yeah, it's miscellaneous characters. Usually, half of them are other characters from Gulliver's Travels, supporting characters, star in them, like the pigeon. It's very weird. Don't get me started on that.
How many Gabbies were there?
Like 12 or
Are
something.
you kidding?
Like that. A whole year's worth.
Pinto Colvin, I have a question
Yes,
about Pinto
Pinto
Colvin,
Colvin.
who also gets writing credit on The Raven. Okay, how is he able to be goofy in Hollywood and work for Fleischer in New York?
Well, he was Fleischer in Miami.
Miami.
And he didn't, when he was doing that, he wasn't working for Disney. He moved on. In fact, after Fleischer, he went to Warner Brothers and did some voices there. They had to cajole to get him back, I think, make peace with him. He was one of the writers on Three Little Pigs.
That's right.
And I think he thought he wasn't valued enough.
He's also one of the voices of Three Little Pigs.
Yeah.
Or the pigs.
The practical pig, I
The
believe.
practical,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Well,
You were gonna. I was going to ask you about. You go back with the
Well,
Fleischer.
let's talk a little,
Okay.
because we have slides in order.
Oh,
I
yeah.
have a picture of Max that Jane,
A very rare stills.
his granddaughter Jane sent us some stills for opening night. Here's the picture, a beautiful portrait of Max. I would say this is from the early 20s, mid-20s.
Yeah.
When this studio is well established.
Yeah.
Where was the studio in New York originally? We know it was...
We know it was at 1600
1600
Broadway.
was the
It was.
30.
I don't have the address in my head. Do you guys know?
I think
Okay.
it was 120 East 43rd Street.
Is that it? There's
Yeah.
a famous drawing that they did of them moving that has the dates, the addresses on it.
The next one. This is him
Yes.
at Coney Island when they're dating. His wife Essie. This is in
Wow.
the early teens. By the way, His wife's name was Essie Goldstein.
Really?
So
Oh,
but then she told, Jane said, well, that was their Ellis Island name. I don't buy that. Okay.
this is
Isn't
when
that
he's
great,
he's probably at Popular Science magazine at this time.
But here he is at
Wow.
Brooklyn Daily Eagle. Do you know the story about that?
Tell me.
Well, he was a kid and he wanted to be a cartoonist, a comic strip artist, not an animator. He paid them $2 a week just so he can hang around. And then he got a strip. He was the youngest, according to one source, he was the youngest person to ever have his own strip. Comic strip, that is.
People got into animation, and again, forgive me if I'm, Tommy, we have an expert in the audience, Tommy Stathis, by the way.
The one with the dark glasses, he doesn't
Yeah,
want to be
the one with-
recognized here. Yeah.
But it seems to me that a lot of people got into animation in the teens were people who couldn't get new comic strips. They were trying to become, similar to what happened with Siegel and Schuster.
And the comic
But the
books,
comic was,
yeah.
you know, animation was labor intensive and it wasn't really an artistic field. And most of the early animated cartoons were based on comic strips, you know.
Right.
That were
It was
established.
international, the Hearst animation studio, which just adapted all their Hearst comic strips. There were quite a few of them, Crazy Cat and all that. And that was the Bray method, that early?
Yeah, well, was it?
Tommy?
Yeah, that's right.
Tommy?
Yeah.
Why don't you come up here and just fill us in? Okay.
Bring your
Next.
video with you and I can show people.
Okay, this is very
I
historic.
love this story. Yeah. This is the only time Mark Fleischer was in front of a picture of Disneyland. Parking lot or something.
Wait a minute, isn't there a
I
Toontown
love this
at
story.
Disneyland now?
Yes.
So do they have any Fleischer, like Betty Boop, is she in there?
No.
No. Well, she was in the movie.
No, but they do have a. When you go into one of the rides, it's like a movie theater, and they have like a fake candy stand, and they have like Alice in Cartoonland, candies. It's very strange.
It is strange.
This is a great story. That's Walt Disney, Max Fleischer, and Richard Fleischer.
Max's son.
And Walt hired Richard to direct 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. And the famous story is, Richard said to Walt, when he first asked him to do it, you know who my father is, don't you? He goes, yes. And he goes, then that's not a problem, not for me. So let me call my dad and see what he...
Can I interject that Max Fleischer was supposedly a really mild-mannered man, beautiful man.
Yeah.
But if you mention Disney at the dinner table, forget it. Yeah.
That mouse guy. So then, Richard called Max, and Max said, if Disney obviously has great taste in live-action directors,
He said you'd be crazy not to do it.
Yeah, crazy not to do it. My favorite thing, though, of this story is that when they were working on the film, and Richard was on the lot every day, they organized, Walt volunteered, said, let's get all the guys at the studio, the animators who were here, who worked for your dad in the 30s or 20s, and we'll have a luncheon. And they had a private luncheon for whoever was there that worked with Max Fleischer. And it was great, with Max there in person, when this photo tape was.
Ironically, we're doing a Richard Fleischer festival concurrent with this, I hope you know. We're showing things like 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. What was I going to say about that?
I don't know, but Richard was
Oh,
the
yeah.
director.
Well, Richard made a lot of his films for 20th Century Fox. Ironically, they're all owned by Disney now.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to tell my personal story now.
Yeah, you have a personal
Okay.
story, weren't
Can
you?
you skip two slides, Raymond? Can you hear me? Okay, this is, that's Max putting a dime in a March of Dimes box.
I love this.
You all know what the March of Dimes was. It was a polio charity. It was created during the presidency of FDR, who everyone now knows had polio. So that was a big deal. Behind Max is his son-in-law, a name you've recognized, Seymour Keitel, who was one of the head animators at Fleischer. Later, the head of Famous. He also, if you came to the Superman show, he co-wrote the first 3 Superman cartoons. That was a real surprise. He is carrying his son, Kenny Keitel, who became my friend when I was 15 and maybe he was 30. He had a store on 52nd in Lexington called Fandango. Does anyone else remember Fandango? He was the first person to sell stuff from the 30s as antiques. And I had seen something in New York Magazine, Best Bets, that told me about this thing. I had to run there. And we hit it off. And he would give me little plots with some of the stuff he gave me. Gave me a Betty Boop patch with the dog ears. I have it still. I might will it to you, but you outlived me. Anyway, so Kenny and I became friends, and I said, when I was about 15, and I said, I want to start the Betty Boop fan club. He had his grandfather write me a letter. He sent me this next. He sent me this. Next, Raymond. This is my name and address in Max Fleischer's hand.
Cool.
And this card. And he actually authorized me to start the Betty Boop fan club next. But he was very savvy. Even at 85, he said, within the limits of Washington City. But I merchandised Betty Boop after the 30s. I think I was the first one. Okay, here's what you don't know about Kenny Nightel, Jerry.
Yeah.
He became an enormously successful graphic designer.
Oh, yes.
He did all the graphics for the first few seasons of Saturday Night Live.
Oh, yeah.
That's Kenny
Those
Nightel.
famous,
Max Fleischer's grandson did the graphics for Saturday Night Live.
That's really
And last time I saw Kenny was around 1989 when King Features was relaunching Betty Boop. It was at the Rainbow Room, and Mae Questel was there too.
Wow.
Yeah.
I visited the house, or me and Leonard Maltin visited with Kenny when we were working on Mice and Magic. And at one point, I'm looking at his bookcase, and he said, these are books my dad, left me. And one of the books was like the Encyclopedia of Puns. Now, if you know those old famous studio cartoons, they were reliant on puns, the titles,
Apparently
the
Max
jokes.
was a punster too.
Yeah.
So do you remember that Kenny also had a very pronounced limp because he had polio? His mother was Ruth Fleischer, Max's daughter, Richard's sister, who had been a showgirl
Yeah.
and a Roxyette. She actually danced at the New Roxy. That's true.
Who was her boyfriend?
Her boyfriend was Ray Bulger,
Oh, yeah.
who was on the first bill at Radio City Musical. We're really getting into the weeds
Yeah, this is
here.
getting-
Okay, let's take questions from the audience about the cartoons, or anything, anything.
Anything.
The political situation, the AI.
All right. Oh, wait, there's one back there.
We're going to have somebody run around and give you a microphone. And even then I might not hear you, but go ahead.
Yes, so they were referencing some prominent entertainer in the Stone Age thing.
Oh, I'm going to say Ted Lewis.
Ted Lewis.
Yeah,
I think it's Ted Lewis, yeah.
And if I understand you, they made so many Gaddy cartoons because they had all this beautiful art from Gulliver's.
That makes sense, but I think they repainted it and redrew and made new layouts and things like
They
that.
also had the model sheets.
Yeah, that would be the
Yeah.
sheet, would be the model sheets
Yeah.
for all the characters. They didn't have to create new characters
Yeah.
for it. It could be done quicker.
They-
Here?
And actually, one thing I wonder why they did, why use Gabby and not like Sneak, Tooth, and Stitch, that we spy.
They did, well, the thing is, those animated antics that I mentioned, they made cartoons with Snoop and Stitch. And the Twinkle Toes, the pigeon, the carrier pigeon, and I'm forgetting if there's another one, but they did do that.
What about Swan and Snap from Mr. Bug?
No, they didn't do that one. By the time that Mr. Bug came out, they were basically gone. The studio was gone. They were doing just Superman and Popeye and then Blackie Sheep, and that's about it.
Yeah, even though it's funny.
Spunky, Hunky. They brought Spunky back. Hunky and Spunky.
Well, are we going to show those next year?
No,
Oh, good.
we're gonna go to another subject, I think, next year.
Right here in the middle.
Hey gentlemen, how did they lay the soundtrack for all the Fleischer?
How did they make soundtracks?
How did they lay? Did they have the actors? So much good sound ad lib.
Oh yeah.
What was the process?
Yeah, in the earlier ones, and again, Tommy, or somebody wants to correct me, please do. The earlier ones, they post-dubbed them, the cartoons. They roughly knew what they wanted the characters to say. Obviously, if they did something with lip sync, where they were really going to, they would pre-record. Fleischer's, I think they people knew in general that that's what they did in terms of the ad-lib aspect of it. Why the Popeyes are particularly noted for that, in my opinion, was because of Jack Mercer. Mercer was part of the storytelling. And when he's watching the screen, he knows what's going to happen next. So a lot of times if you listen to the soundtrack from that point of view, he's just describing like what's going to happen in the next scene. And it's anyway, that's, you know,
That's one of the things that makes some Popeye cartoons.
Yeah.
Did you really, but Betty Boop's, it looks like, you remember Clutch Cargo? They superimposed the live action lips. These are the worst cartoons ever made.
Yes, they are.
Cartoons.
I show them at my show.
You show anything, Jerry.
Yes.
But was that what they did with Betty? They had live action lips on her?
No.
I mean, no. Tommy?
Am I right
Can you
about
okay. It looks that way.
Live action lips? No, they had live action performers, you know, like
Yeah.
Galloway and things.
Well,
You know,
I'll show you what I mean.
What's
later.
interesting is that looking a lot recently at the 40s and 50s Popeye cartoons, 50s cartoons are going to be restored if anyone cares. They actually try to do the ad-libbing thing, kinda. They sort of fake it. They like what they do is they have Jack Mercer say some funny lines, and they don't animate it. He's just, his mouth isn't moving. It's like a fake version of what people remembered that Popeye used to do. Anyway.
You can't
Very
fake
odd.
spontaneity.
Mr. Greenberg.
And that's,
Well,
wait,
uh,
hold on.
Wait.
We know you have
can't
a.
talk till you have the
Yeah,
microphone.
yeah.
I asked Jane Fleischer about that, the words coming out of their mouths with certain movies.
What did she say?
I asked her if they paid by the word, therefore it's adding extra words to the. She felt that they were thought balloons, like in a comic strip.
Okay.
Which is kind of interesting.
Like Snoopy.
concept.
Yeah.
You know, so she thought they were thought balloons.
Yeah.
But I thought maybe Mercer was getting paid by the words, so he's adding some words here.
That's
But
interesting.
was the ad lib an accident? It's something that happened in an early cartoon and then they just kept doing it?
No, I think that the performers are watching the film, they're looking at it, and you always hear Mae Questel saying, "Oh, that's cute," or "It's adorable," you know, in other
Yeah.
things. They're like, it's almost like they're reacting to it, almost Mystery Science Theater style, you know.
Right. Anybody else?
Yeah, we have one back here. How far into the animation world, first of all, thank you, did they insert the live action to save on animation time? I know they did that early on, but it seemed even some of the later ones, there was live action where you wouldn't have expected it. The animation was sophisticated, but there were still live action people in it. Was that just the style? Or was
Well, I mean, I'm not sure. I don't think they inserted live action necessarily for economy reasons. I think that was an entertaining film by doing that.
Yeah.
You know, they made the film. You know, what would be good entertainment. You
I
know,
just thought that they inserted the live action to do less animation. It's such a heavy schedule. By the way, that
Maybe-
screen songs, normally the screen songs have a cartoon,
Yeah.
and then the song, and then they go back into a cartoon. That doesn't go back into a
it goes back to
cartoon.
those title cards.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
true, which is funnier than any
Yeah,
of the cartoons.
yeah.
Yeah. If you didn't enjoy it tonight, we don't care.
I mean, the screen songs are definitely, in some ways, cheaters in their way, you know, but there's the ones in the 30s are very, very so entertaining that, you know, I mean, I who thinks about that? You know?
They bill it as the famous bouncing ball. How famous was it? When did they
Very
start?
famous.
How,
Whenever you've seen anywhere a bouncing ball, if it isn't from a Paramount thing, they're ripping Paramount off. I don't know if it's a trademark thing. Yeah, it's a trademark thing. It was only in the Max Fleischer cartoons. There were many, you know,
sing-alongs, but not bouncing balls.
Right.
Yeah.
And in fact,
yeah.
they kept doing it in the 40s. Famous continued
Well,
it.
Famous kept doing it. They're
And they did it in the
horrible.
50s. They even made one in the 1960s.
Which
Strange.
was what? The Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band?
No, it was, what was it called? They're running it on MeTV Tunes now. It's about a hobo. Hobo's Holiday, that's the name of it.
Oh, really?
It's with the Big Rock Candy Mountain is the song in it. Is that too much information? Next question about something obscure?
Big Rock Candy Mountain is the song, not the hobo. Okay.
Yeah.
We have a question on the first.
Okay, we're gonna, Jerry's got an early flight, so make it fast.
I wanted to know your guys' opinions on Robert Altman's Popeye and.
Oh, don't get us started. You know, I have a book about Altman's Popeye,
Oh, God,
which I think is like
You know-
the worst movie ever made.
I see we feel the same way.
Yeah.
The thing is, that Waltman's the problem with that film. Pfeiffer did the script, and he's a major Popeye fan.
Well, I got a
Listen
story
to
about
the music,
that.
and he's great. And the casting is fantastic.
I mean,
And it's a
Shelley
bad
Duvall
movie.
with better olive oil.
Yeah.
You know.
And even and Robin Williams. perfect.
Yeah, but it's just a dud, I think. But I
Bad
actually talked to Pfeiffer very shortly before he died in Sag Harbor. My friend was showing it at the Sag Harbor Cinema, and I knew Pfeiffer a little bit, and we were talking about Popeye, and it was talking about the Fleischer. They were terrible, the Fleischer.
Oh, no.
I think, but
Because he's into the comic strips.
no, I think because he's into the comics, I think he might have been thinking of the later.
Maybe.
Yeah. No one could not like the early Fleischer cartoons. Okay. We said our piece about Altman's Popeye. Yeah. Anybody like Altman's Popeye?
Yes.
All right. Sorry.
Ray Walston's great.
What?
Ray Walston's great as Pappy.
Yeah.
Ray Walston, yeah, perfect.
There's a lot of good
The
elements.
casting is perfect.
Yeah.
What if,
It's
Harry Nilsson did the
Altman's
song,
direction
right?
is the problem.
Yeah.
But you kind of felt like you were stoned when you were watching it. You didn't.
Well, that's the problem. I didn't get stoned at that screening. We did a show here in this part called Fleischer Head Cartoon.
Right.
But we don't allow smoking in the theater, so.
But we allowed it for that one.
But gummies are okay. Anybody, one more. How about one more great question?
Let's coax a question out of it.
Yeah.
We got somebody over here.
Why did they stop doing the 3D effect?
That, as I said earlier, that Stone Age cartoon is one of the last uses, around 1940. It's, if you've seen Mr. Bug Goes to Town, the opening titles, while the credits are on behind it, they did the 3D effect for New York City as a 3D dimensional thing.
But they
That's
have
it.
the
Why did they stop doing
I
it?
think it was just, that was a cost-cutting thing, I'm sure.
But they actually have the patent at the beginning of all the Supermans. We didn't really
Yeah,
get
that's
that
the
much of
thing.
it.
I wonder if that opening shot of Mr. Bug was meant to be Metropolis.
Possibly.
Yeah.
I've always thought that.
Well, if you don't know, I don't
Yeah.
know. Okay, well, thank you, Jerry Beck.
All right.